have experience with Almax, we prepare the material, print material all from the university printout. Also, we can offer transportation for the people, especially if you are making a workshop in another city for the participant. So we can use also the university transportation. So every university here have a special transportation, so we can also use this to move the participants. Also, our focus about accommodation, because sometimes the participant is from another city. So if you are making a workshop for a participant from outside your city, it's better to offer accommodation, especially if it's 2 days. And the last one, if to support our budget or to increase the money, we can ask for help from the authorities. Especially this is could be institutional support. So we can ask for additional grant or something like that from our institute or university.
And did you use the NAS money to pay for some accommodation for some people as well, or you didn't need to?
No, we needed to. In some cases we needed to, but the budget was not.
We need to.
Okay, particularly if you wanted to be all Egypt or something, that would be an issue.
Yeah, in our case, in our case it was one day workshop, but some participants came from outside the city,
right.
So they had to transport, and this is cost.
It's an issue. Yeah, sure.
So moving on to the ice breaking. So the ice breaking had different techniques. So I'll just start by my techniques. So I had pictures, and the pictures were actually demonstrating active learning techniques such as think, pair, and share, and the jigsaw puzzle, and brainstorming and discussion, and photograph of passive learners and active learners. So I had these pictures cut up into 6 pieces according to the participants' number per table, and then according to the level of each participant, so that I don't have all demonstrators on one table, all PhD holders on another table. So I just wanted to spread around the experiences. So in each folder for each participant, I had a piece of the puzzle, so that it was part of an icebreaking activity after the opening ceremony. Everyone was still so rigid and stuff. So we told them to get out the piece and search for the other pieces, and then make the picture and paste it on the table, and that's your new table. So of course at the beginning it was difficult. People didn't want to move around. They felt it was kind of childish to look for especially because they were very colorful, the pictures, and of course at that time they didn't know. So the jigsaw puzzle was in the form of an elephant. So they were like, but anyways, as they went on, they started, when they found the missing pieces, it was fun. And the clue was the folder, the color of the folder, because each picture was color coded. All the pink files had the elephant, for example, and all the yellow files had the think, pair, and share. So that was pretty fun, and they got to know each other's names so that they can fix together the...
I think that's great.
It was nice because we reflected on it the next day when we spoke about active learning. So I said, so the pictures that you gathered, look now at the table, so they also have the think, pair, and share, the jigsaw, all the methods that we mentioned. So it was kind of a confirmatory thing. And we had another idea about having a ball being thrown around, like after everyone knows each other's names, so to test that they know each other's names. So I throw the ball, but before I throw it to Yusra, I have to say her name.
Right.
So that was nice, but actually, because we're one faculty, so everyone actually knew each other's names, so we thought that to save time, but we didn't do it.
Do you think this kind of play will work with people with
exactly.
older...
I was just going to say that we had actually, it was a bowling ball. So why was it a bowling ball? Because we actually had bought a bowling set, little tiny kids bowling set. So that was, the point of it was actually because we had some questions about citations, but unfortunately we didn't get the time to do. It was just some questions like, for example, when to use AL, when to use certain things that many people don't know. So it was going to be like a raffle, and then whoever answers it gets to get a throw. But we felt that we had some PhD holders that were a bit of, well, okay, of course they're older, so they felt that. So we didn't want to get ourselves embarrassed or anything, so we just eliminated that for this workshop per se. So then the question...
Jim has a good method for senior people. Do you want to tell them briefly, Jim, what it is?
Okay.
What I often do is when I have the participant apply, I ask them to write a fact that no one they think knows about them. And I take those facts and I put them on a sheet of paper at random, and then I pass them out. And the goal is when the participants get there, they must go get the initial of the person in the room who goes with the various facts. That gets them to talk to most of the folks in the room.
So they ask them questions.
Yeah, they have to ask questions to find out who this person is that's being described by this fact.
But do people actually write personal stuff, or they just write?
Icebreaker. Icebreaker.
So another thing, those questions, Dr. Tel used this, she asked random questions at the beginning to just get people open up. And for Ahmed and Dalia, they used Dr. Faham's method with the hand up and the cell phone, so everyone is like, what's going on? So that was kind of also. So moving on to the next point, the facilitator training.
For you. Also for icebreaking, sometimes I use to give a question about the football match, especially if your participant is male. So we can just start the lecture or the workshop with like, what do you think about the last football match? So start people to talk about this. Also sometimes about who is fans of who is fans of the Malik, so sometimes make live.
So for the facilitator training, so it's actually very important that they need extensive training to be able to be speakers and facilitators at a certain workshop. So actually this would need a lot of meetings before the actual event and not just the day before. This actually I experienced when with Ahmed and Dalia how two of my facilitators and speakers were actually attendees in their workshops. So actually it's not just because they attended, they were able to be speakers and facilitators. Actually, much to my surprise and theirs, is that when I gave them the task, okay, so we're starting on my workshop, so I found that no, they were not able to come up with a presentation using active learning techniques. So it's one thing to be exposed to it, and it's another thing to do it. So then, of course, it figures since we got it from everyone here along a week. So training is one thing and exposure is another thing. So this is not automatically participants can be trainers. This I know for sure. I think the next point is so continuous meetings I already mentioned. Spotting future facilitators. So of course you can tell who has the potential by their participation. So I'm sure every one of us felt during the workshop that certain people have that potential and they are very interested in this sort of activity and this sort of way of delivering information, of course, in this sort of topic. So this is, of course, a clue. But again, it would still need training. You can't just depend on that they got it. You have to make sure that they got it. Moving on to the sustainability, I think, okay, everyone is dead. So sustainability, so what did we say one day? Yeah, is that we should try to be able to sustain it in a more reasonable, doable way. We shouldn't think of having all the topics in one day and not even a long day, because people won't survive it, especially if you don't have the food and you don't have the money. So just have it like one topic, one day, and have a low fee. But we had some argument amongst our group regarding the fee, is that, for example, Sense Institute say that you have to get a commission. I'm not a commission, like the institute has to take a certain percent from that fee, so you end up with pretty much no money. But for example, in my institute, no, when we repeat it, we won't need that since the cafeteria is for that very nice professor, so she's not asking us for money or anything. So I guess this will vary according to the institute. But this is a must to have a low price just to be able to get the basic coffee break materials. And the printables, I'm sure that most institutes can offer that. Yes, please.
Now, just in this case, I want to emphasize that paying like £50 is not a very high amount of money, but actually it's important in another way. Because in some cases, in our case, we had it as a free workshop, but there was a lot, like 4 or 5 no show because of they didn't pay, so
No commitment.
I'm not going today. But if they pay even £10, they will.
Commitment? You need commitment?
Yes. So it's not only for the sustainability, it's also for commitment.
Yep.
So moving on to the limitations. So of course the time constraint. So a lot of us said that it was very difficult to manage being in charge of a workshop and as well as having your studies and having your actual work in the faculty. So they don't give you time off to do that stuff. So of course this is a limitation. You overcome it by the grace of God, of course. And then teamwork. Of course, teamwork is very important. And if you're stuck with a bad team, then it's a nightmare. So this is a very important point to consider when choosing your team. You have to make sure that everyone knows the same objective. So since I had one dropout, so like we said, there were 3 actually attending their workshop, and then they were supposed to continue, but one along the way, she just dropped out because it's a matter of having the same passion towards the same thing, so you have to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And everyone has to have it as a priority and not just, so this is very difficult, of course. I don't know if this is applicable. I'm hoping that the Leadership Institute will tell us about this, because this is very difficult. So the authority figure, what was that, inability to control? Yeah, this was a limitation that when you have an authority figure or a guest, for example, the dean or whatever, sometimes they lose themselves introducing and taking all the welcome and we're very happy to have you, and they keep on talking and talking, and then they take up a lot of time, and you can never ask them to stop talking. So it becomes very awkward and disturbing. So this is the inability to control their speaking time, and also to change their minds if they're participants. Of course, if you have an authority figure that's a participant and of course very determined to stick with their opinion, so it's kind of challenging to, this was Fasan's point, I think she had a certain, do you want to elaborate, because that's all I have. Finally, publishing. So publishing that I have no clue about, so I think Ahmad will
I don't know, maybe you can advise me if it's possible to publish as a report about this kind of...
Yes, I think, I mean, some of the material you were doing, and particularly the ongoing, in some educational journal, I think, yeah, it would be interesting.
As an article or as a report?
Well, you would need to sort of sound them out probably about their interest in it, and then take it from there, really. But I mean, we're interested in all of the material that's been sort of collected, but I think that you should be looking at publishing it within Egypt, because that's obviously going to reach a different, a wider audience. So it's about thinking of it in the wider sense. And then maybe when you've got your material, just draft something, put it together, and then look at the different journals that are available and see whether what you've got might actually suit them. So you'll need to do a little bit of research, I think, to sort of find what is appropriate. But I think the data you've got, it's important educational material, and it deserves to be out there. I was just going to ask what strategies you might have for getting someone who is an authority figure to stop talking.
Maybe if we are prepared from beforehand, but the thing is, usually authority figures tell you, I'll try to come, or something like that. So of course I didn't have that issue a lot, but I think if you're inviting someone, then you have to tell them, I would love it if you give a speech, for example, a welcome speech. We have a vacancy from this time to that time. So
Absolutely.
that would be just beforehand. You can't stop them while they're talking on the spot, because it will just end up So backfire.
But just as you agree authorship criteria beforehand,
Yes.
make it absolutely clear what your constraints are, because you've got a packed program, and you've got a slot, and if somebody knows that you want them to talk for 5 or 10 minutes or something, they can then think about what they want to do over that period. But set it out at the beginning. Don't get caught out by someone ruining your program. Yeah. Okay, are there any other comments about this presentation?
I just want to add something. For finding facilitators, because I think now it's very easy for us to find facilitators because we have a good networking. And thanks for the National Academy of Science for that. So, I mean, if anyone for us is, and it was clear during the presentation for overall, we always use the networking to find facilitators. So, Ahmed started his workshop, he invited me to be a facilitator. Have the Southern, so we are exchange facilitators. So I think networking became something very, very important now and very useful for us.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Daniel had an idea about this. He talked to me about it during the break of having a collective group work for the 5 days.
Yes.
This time we
most of the groups already have group Facebooks, so maybe we can join in one Facebook and be like one for the whole network together. Anyone that has a workshop will put it and others will like distribute it in their own Facebook, so it will be all network together in one group.
But you still can have your own
Yes.
page and also have a collective.
So that can be like National Academy of Sciences
Yeah,
grantees.
very nice.
No, actually, we had in Egypt one where we had the last day we had the feedback session, and one of the sustainability actions was to create a WhatsApp
Yeah.
group, and I did it, and we actually, until now, we are connected until now.
Yeah, and I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Yes,
and
yes,
it's
yes.
great
Actually, even
seeing
as
all the stuff that's
yes,
coming through,
always in
really.
Arabic.
So are you all connected to that, to the WhatsApp group? So
Egypt one,
just Egypt one.
Yeah, Egypt 2 connected in the group called Second Institute.
Ah, okay. Ah,
So Egypt 2 has got a WhatsApp.
Another one. WhatsApp.
Yes,
Yes.
but they're not together. Egypt 1 and 2.
So what you need,
To collaborate. Yes. Connect. Yes.
someone
okay, so maybe I can make a reunion
Yeah,
group,
yeah.
and then I will read all.
Absolutely. So someone from Egypt 1 link up with Egypt 2 so that you share your numbers so
Yes.
before you leave so that you can make sure.
Maybe
that
the
you've got
admin of
that.
the other Egypt 2 can we can share the.
I have a specific recommendation, if it is possible. Dr. Muhammad Ahmed has raised a point of view of publication, making the interpretation of data from individual workshop to be published as an article. What we can make a networking, we can collaborate in a mega research or mega article for institute, Egypt Institute. Despite to be individually publishing, we can networking in a single mega or big research. I guess we can get a fund from National Academy of Science here.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So let's do it.
Yes.
And the fact that you have got this network now, so you can be thinking, I mean, you've been doing things in your individual institutions, you can be thinking of working collaboratively, maybe even doing bigger things, but essentially to convince people that this works, you need evidence. So it's about collecting your evidence, you know, your pre-assessment and your post-assessment, but collecting that data. Once you've got the evidence, I mean, that is what will convince people. So think about, you know, some maybe bigger things anyway, but the network that you've got.
But we still need to connect and communicate all the institutes.
Okay.
It's great. So I haven't got anything more to say. Mohammed Shinawi will have a few words to say. All I want to do is to thank you again so much for contributing. You demonstrate that you're a natural participants and facilitators. I've really enjoyed the 2 days here. I'm staying on to do some more work. Thank you all very much for contributing, and do copy these different things, the different sheets before you go, just as an aid memoir. And thank you very much again. Hope you enjoy.